Soft piano and wind ambience. In a restless city, where millions hurry through crowded streets, one boy walked alone. His name was Ion, 17 years old, poor, and forgotten by the world. He lived in a small, broken hut at the edge of the road. Years ago, he had lost both his parents in a car accident. Since that night, silence had been his only companion. Every morning he would wake before the sun, collect small fruits left behind by vendors, and wander through the city looking for work or maybe a reason to smile. But deep inside, Ion carried a prayer. Greater than, maybe one day, I'll find someone who reminds me of my mother. Evening sounds, soft breeze, distant city hum. It was nearly sunset when Ion saw her. A pregnant woman, sitting alone beside a cracked wall, wrapped in a black dress, her face pale, her hands trembling. People passed by, pretending not to notice. But Ion stopped. Something inside him whispered, "Go to her." He looked down at the fruits he carried, strawberries, peaches, cherries, apples, mangoes, then slowly began to walk toward her. Emotional piano rises gently. He knelt beside her and said softly, "Greater than, you look tired, ma'am. Please, take these. They're all I have." The woman looked up, surprised by the gentleness in his voice. Her eyes were filled with exhaustion and disbelief. "Greater than, why would you give your food to me?" she asked. Ion smiled, a small, honest smile. "Greater than, because when I look at you, I see my mother." He placed the fruits in her lap, one by one. The woman hesitated, then took a strawberry and began to eat slowly. Each bite brought color back to her face. For the first time that day, she smiled. Quiet violin background. Ion sat beside her in silence. The street noise faded away. There were no words, only a feeling. After a while, the woman whispered, "Greater than, you miss her, don't you? Your mother?" Ion nodded, tears filling his eyes. "Greater than, every day. She used to feed me just like this. Sometimes I think, if I help someone, maybe she'll smile from heaven." The woman placed her hand on his head, gently, a mother's touch. And in that moment, two broken hearts found comfort in each other's pain. Footsteps, light rain starting, city lights flickering. Night began to fall. Ion looked at her and said softly, "Greater than, you can't stay here. Please, come with me." The woman hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Greater than, I don't know where else to go." He reached out his hand. She placed hers in his, trusting, fragile, warm. And together they walked through the dim streetlights, toward a small hut at the end of the lane. For Ion, every step felt like walking beside his mother again. For her, every step felt like finding safety after a long storm. Soft crackle of a candle, warm music tone. When they reached his home, a small, humble space, Ion quickly cleaned a corner and laid out a thin bed. He said shyly, "Greater than, it's not much, but it's yours tonight." The woman looked around. Broken walls, flickering lanterns, yet filled with peace. She smiled through tears. "Greater than, it's beautiful, Ion. Thank you." That night, she slept peacefully for the first time in months. And Ion, sitting quietly near the door, whispered a prayer of gratitude. "Greater than, thank you, God, for sending her to me." Morning birds, soft light ambience. When dawn came, sunlight touched the little home. A warm smell filled the air. The woman was cooking. She had found some flour, some vegetables, and used the fruits Ion brought. She served him food on a small metal plate and said, smiling, "Greater than, you gave me kindness last night. Today, let me give you warmth." Ion looked at her hands, the same care, the same love he once knew. He smiled back and ate quietly, tears forming in his eyes again. Montage narration tone. Days passed. The woman began living in that small house with Ion. She cleaned the place, planted a few flowers outside, and often hummed lullabies. Ion, in return, cared for her like a son, bringing water, washing clothes, and making sure she never felt alone. Every evening they sat together, watching the sunset through the window. It wasn't a mansion, it wasn't luxury, but it was home. Soft emotional strings rise. One night, as the wind blew softly through the cracked window, Ion said, "Greater than, you know, when I lost my mother, I thought love had ended for me. But you brought it back." The woman touched his face and replied, "Greater than, and when I met you, I remembered what hope feels like." For both of them, destiny had written a miracle. A mother who had lost everything found a son. A son who had no one found his mother again, not by blood, but by heart. Cinematic crescendo, peaceful tone. Ion built a small wooden bed for her, placing clean sheets in a soft blanket. He brought her water every morning and placed fruit on her bedside. Apples, mangoes, strawberries, everything she liked. He made sure she rested, smiled, and felt safe. Whenever she laughed, the house seemed brighter. Whenever she prayed, Ion closed his eyes, feeling the warmth of his mother's blessings again. Gentle piano outro, warm lighting. Weeks later, neighbors began noticing the glow in that tiny house. A boy and a woman living like family, sharing what little they had. Someone once asked Ion, "Greater than, who is she?" "Your mother." He smiled and said, "Greater than, no, but she reminds me of mine." And that's enough. He had lost everything, yet, through kindness, he found something greater, love reborn. Soft orchestral music fades in. Sometimes life takes everything away, only to return what truly matters. Ion's story is not about wealth, but about heart. A boy who lost his parents found peace by caring for another soul. And in doing so, he learned the purest truth of all. Greater than, when you give love selflessly, you never stay empty. As night fell once more, the woman slept peacefully on the bed he built. Ion sat near her, smiling quietly, whispering. And for the first time in years, his heart finally rested.